Hi everybody, welcome to Untitled Travels. I'm Randy.
And I'm Mike.
And in this video, we are going to be talking about tips and tricks and general information for the cruise that we just went on, which is the Carnival Valor. The dates we were on was September 10th through 15th. So if you were on with us, hi. And we have a lot of information coming up. Hopefully very, very helpful to you if you're taking a cruise soon. Everything that we're going to say is based off our sailing. So some of the times, if we give you a time for something or a day that it happens, it may be a little bit different on your sailing. But for our sailing, this is the information and the things that happened.
And a disclaimer right at the beginning. This is our first video. So therefore, it may be an adventure. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, and the house is haunted. So the camera keeps stopping and starting all by itself.
Yeah, it did take pictures while ago while we were setting up. And also start a video without permission.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Okay, the first thing is our trip was a 5-day sailing, 6 official days, 5 ship days, or however you want to put it. So we went to 2 ports and had 2 sea days.
Right, and on day number 1, so the first thing we probably need to talk about is parking.
Yes.
We used Fulton Place parking, which worked out really well for us.
Yes.
It's right in front of the port, and it was only about 5 minutes from our hotel. We stayed at the Westin.
Yes.
And if you book it online, it's $10 a day for outside parking plus a $5 service charge, and their taxes made it a total of $61. If you get the covered parking, it's $12.50 a day, plus their service charge and $7.50 in taxes made it $75. If you book when you're there or pay when you're there, it's $14 a day.
Save you some money. Do it online.
Next thing, you're going to want to plan to tip probably 3 people on your way in. You're going to have I think it's usually 1 or 2 guys that's loading the luggage onto the shuttle before you go over, and they let you know that they don't share tips with the driver, so tips are appreciated. Then when you get to the port, the driver unloads for you, and he has a tip box sitting in the van there, and then he turns your luggage over to you, and you can give it to a porter if you choose to, and you tip your porter. The usual customary tip is $1 per bag. We usually try to do $2 or so per bag. This trip we only had 2 bags, so we tipped $5 because I myself put a minimum of 5 on it. Probably the next thing I want to talk about is our sailing was actually the first day of the new COVID protocol for that particular port. So it was a little longer for us to get on than usual because they had 2 issues. One, an escalator broke, so they only could get in half as many people at a time as usual. And then the second issue was it was the first day with the new COVID protocol where you didn't have to be vaccinated, and so it slowed them down a little. One thing we found out once we got there, because it was a little bit of an issue, which we got past, is if you're a non-vaccinated traveler, you don't want to disclose your vaccination status, you can do a home test. When you do the home test, now we called and asked because we wanted to make sure we did it correctly. They tell you to take a picture of the test, and it must be a time-stamped picture. So my phone didn't actually have a timestamp option, so I downloaded a program that had done a timestamp picture. And we thought we were good because that's what they told us. And so we got there, and they said that the picture actually needed to include your name and your birth date. Mm-hmm. We actually laid the test on a piece of paper which had our names on it, one for me and one for her. But we didn't have our birthdays. So I think the easiest thing to do to get past this is to actually take a picture with the test link beside your driver's license, because it has all of that information on it.
But still, it has to be time-stamped.
It still has to be time-stamped, so they know it's within 72 hours of your sailing. Because they actually had to call, 2 different people over to get us approved to go on. So they actually had us write our birth dates on the sheets that we brought in, and then take a new picture of that with the writing on it.
Yeah. So that process was a little bit scary because, that we had not done that or had any of that issue before. So they actually still didn't know exactly what they were doing. So hopefully now that won't be an issue for anybody else because they're going to, disclose that information at the beginning. Let's see. Our cabin was $82.14. I know a lot of people ask, for reviews on cabins and different things like that. The location of the cabin was absolutely perfect. It was very quiet. We were on deck 8, so if you know the way ships generally work, all of the stuff is either on deck 5 or deck 9. The food is mostly on deck 9 unless you plan to eat at the main dining room. So we went out straight to the elevator, up one floor, and you were right there at all of the stuff. Location of the cabin was great. Very quiet. We could only hear a little bit in the mornings, like out the door. The walls are metal, so if you want to bring your metal hooks for this ship, you can. They are metal. And the ship is cashless, so when you get onto the ship, your sail and sign card, we always say that backwards, sail and sign card is going to be at your door. So before you get to your room, which they won't let you in the room till 1:30, if you want to buy a drink or something, you have to use your boarding pass.
Right.
So you can just don't put your boarding pass up once you get on the ship if you plan to buy anything, a drink, coffee, anything like that, because you're going to need it until you get your sail and sign card, which is outside your door.
Oh man, actually, before we go too much into the ship, we need to talk about the new safety protocol.
Oh yes, the muster drill.
So the muster drill has changed. So we're used to, we would all gather and you would stand there for 30 minutes sweating. They've actually changed that. When you get on the ship, you actually go to your muster station, which ours was B. And when you get there, there's 2 crew members, one with a handheld and one there to demonstrate how to use the life jacket. Once they demonstrate to you how to use the life jacket, they scan your boarding pass and check the 2 of us off, and we are considered done. And then they have the actual safety briefing playing on the TVs in each room, so when you go into your room, you'll hear it.
Yeah, you just want to kind of, if you've done it before, it's not as big of a deal, but if you've never done it before, you probably do need to kind of watch that. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes to get through the whole thing. Super, super easy. Best process ever. I hope it does not go away, because it was in and out, literally took us less than 5 minutes.
Also, she was talking about the room. We are going to do, we have a video that we'll put up in a day or so that's going to be a ship tour, and we'll have a tour of the room as well. Mm-hmm. We had someone on Facebook ask us a question yesterday as we were driving back, and we told them we would address it in this video. They asked us about the drink package. They said, is the drink package worth it for someone that only has 2 or 3 drinks? In my opinion, the answer to that would be no. So if you have the soda package, it's $9.50 per day per person for adults, and $6.95 per day per person for children, and that just gets you sodas.
And juice.
Right. So if you go to the Cheers package, which was the one they were asking about, it's actually $59.95 per day per person in the cabin over 21. And so if you're only drinking 2 drinks, then the average drink on the ship's about $10.50. So that means you're only spending $21 on the drinks if you're buying 2, and the package is right at $60. So, in my opinion, you have to drink at least 6 a day per person to make it to where you're getting into the positive. Because if you drink 6 at an average of $10.50, you're at $63. So that's where you start getting into the positive.
Yeah. Your first day, sail away is going to be around 3:30. And they have right now the 50th anniversary pre-party where they talk about the 50th anniversary and stuff like that. But the actual sail away party comes directly after that. It is a must-do for me. Even if you're not going to participate, go watch. It's fun. You see a lot of interesting things, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. The dive-in movies on our sailing were Batman, Elvis, Jurassic Park, Vivo, Fantastic Beast, Secrets of Dumbledore, Sonic 2, and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Never heard of that movie until we got on the ship.
I do want to see it, though. It looks actually kind of good. We did not watch it, but I would like to see it. The shows that we had, and they were much different than the shows that we had seen in the past. They were more like concerts. but they were really, really good. And the talent on this ship is amazing. They can really, really sing, like blow you away type sing. Studio VIP, we almost missed that one because we didn't realize there was a lot of VIP events that day, and a lot of meet and greets and a lot of things that just we didn't know what they were on the app now, which is serves as your fun times. So also, if you do not have the Carnival app, download it, because that they do not give you the paper fun passes anymore. You have to go through the app to do everything, including book your dining. If you're a Disney goer, this is cake. This is so easy. Disney Genie, way easier than that. But you do have to book your dining if you do My Time Dining. We opted for My Time Dining, so we went and done, whenever we got hungry, we would go. But if you do have your time dining, you will not need to do that to go to dinner. If you do C-Day Brunch, you will have to do it, though. Everybody has to do it for C-Day Brunch. But the shows are Studio VIP. Like I said, we almost missed it because we did not know. He actually figured it out by, I think, overhearing someone talk about it. Country Road, which is literally just a country music concert. It was fantastic. And America Rocks, which is, 80s rocks, a little bit of 70s, 80s rock. Fantastic shows. You won't know any of this if you don't look in the app, though. So you do need to get the app. Our first C-Day is when you're going to have your C-Day brunch. It ends at 12 o'clock now. It used to be open till 1. We always were kind of a late risers and would get there a little bit later. But, in order to get to eat at the C-Day brunch now, you have to be there by 12. Also, they have ice carving that day. It's also going to be your elegant night. So that's also when the Studio VIP show is. Get there early because they do fill up really, really quick if you want a decent seat. If you sit in the balcony, there's poles that are going to obstruct your view and you don't see as well. Also,
the times for the VIP show are 7:30 and 9:30. And also the Punchliner, it has 3 shows that day, which should be 7, 9, and 10:30.
Yep. And the late one, if you don't get there at least 30 minutes early, you won't get a seat.
Yeah, we got there at 10 and couldn't get in.
Yep. Yeah. It was, that is one of the most highlighted events of the night for adults.
Yeah, that's their adults only comedy show.
Yep. Okay, so the next day is Port Day, and it is Costa Maya for our sailing. Now, I know they do 4-day cruises and 5-day cruises, so we did the 5-day, so our first port day was Costa Maya. Mask.
Okay, so there's actually a paper in your stateroom that says that masks are required inside and outside in Costa Maya. So we took masks with us, so make sure you take masks with you.
Just in case.
Now, what we did notice was everything, there were signs on the back of the bicycle transportation and everything in Costa Maya that said masks are required. No one wore a mask.
Not one person.
Everywhere in the port, and you can see that because I actually have a port video that we'll do a little later. So we're masks.
Nope.
Now, we had them with us in case we needed them.
Yep.
And so I would suggest having them just in case, because it says it's mandatory, but no one said anything about it.
Not sure why that is. So in Costa Maya, it's a little different than your typical port day. The ship doesn't dock until 1 p.m. and you're actually in port till 7:30. So you have a longer afternoon and evening day where generally they usually port around 8 a.m. and you're there till like 3 or 4, which is what happens on the Cozumel day. But in this one, we were there in the evening. It was different, but nice. You could stay in for a little while during the hottest part of the day and then go explore if you wanted. So that was a plus. Also, your Deal or No Deal is going to be that day. Even if you don't play, go watch it. It is fantastic. It's hilarious. Everybody's screaming and yelling, and the crowd gets really involved. It is just like the TV show. So there is somebody that goes up. They choose at random. If you buy into Deal or No Deal, they choose someone at random that has a card, and then they get to go up and play for what was the top?
$1,000.
$1,000, yeah.
And it was kind of funny because the second person that played that day,
Oh, yeah, that was like
her husband was sitting right up front. And so when it was time to make a decision, whether it was deal or no deal, Louis would ask the husband, say, well, what do you think? And he would always have the same answer. I ain't seeing shit. That's what he would say.
You can't say that.
And so until the offer got over $400, and then he started screaming for her to take the deal, take the deal. So it's funny how quick he changed.
Yeah, and the very first person that we had accidentally pushed the button when she didn't mean to
accept the deal
and shut the game down. And they're like, "We've never had this before. What do we do?" I mean, it was like the second offer. I think
I think it was $180, and she's like, "Can I please take that back? Can I take it back?"
And they're like, "Nope, it's automated."
Well, Louis asked. He said, "Wait, can she take it back?" And they were like, "No, the deal's accepted because it's a computer program. Once she hits the button, it's over with." But the funny thing about it is, when you're in the crowd, you can buy a card and you play along. Every time they open a case, you open a case.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you match, you go up the level in your prize. So the young lady that actually made the deal and got the 180 in the first game actually was the big winner from the crowd in the second game because she got $200 in cash in the second game playing from her seat.
Yep. She ended up going away with more money once she sat down overall than...
Yeah, she won more in her seat than she did on stage.
Yep.
So the tickets, the cards were $25. So if you or two for $40. So if you go and you want to play, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is really fun. I'll definitely do it again. I didn't win anything though, but I'd still do it again. Let's see. Oh, and the Love and Marriage show is that day too. Okay, that is absolutely one of the funniest things you're gonna see. So I'm not gonna spoil everything, but I will tell you a little bit. So they pick 3 couples from the audience, and they come up and they have to match each other's answers. So they'll ask, the husband a question or the wife a question or whatever, and then they have to try to match their answers. And the questions that they ask and the answers that they are given could cause some people to sleep in separate rooms before the night's over. I'll put it to you that way.
if the wife's answer wrong, it gets them in trouble.
Yeah.
And it seems like in our particular sailing, the questions were aimed that direction to get the wife to say bad things about the husband.
Yeah, and it was funny.
But it's funny because the way they choose is the couple that's been married the longest, the couple that's been married the shortest amount of time, and then
somewhere in the middle.
Random couple. So on our sailing, the couple that had been married the longest had been married 60 years. Mm-hmm. And the one that was the shortest was 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days.
And then
they were on their honeymoon.
And then in the middle, he asked for couples to kind of do silly stuff to get the crowd going, and then when they got the biggest crowd applause, won. Mm-hmm. So that's how they picked for ours.
Yeah, and they were doing some interesting stuff to try to win that position. So yeah, definitely go watch. Even if you don't participate, go watch.
It's as funny as the comedy club.
Yeah, definitely. I think a little more so because it lasts longer. Okay, so the next cruise day would be day 4, and that is Cozumel. So this is more your typical dock around 8 a.m. and then the ship leaves at 4:30.
Even though we had to wait a few minutes on someone that was late.
Oh yeah, we had a couple of people that almost got left. So that's interesting to go out and watch. So go out and watch right before you start to leave port and see all the people running back. Is kind of funny.
And I'm going to interject something here.
Okay.
So one of the last days, there was a question and answer segment with one of the officers from the ship, the head of the entertainment, and your cruise director, Louis. And
yes,
they actually asked about this because it had just happened that we were waiting on a person that was late. They said, how long do you wait, and will you actually leave somebody? They did not give us an actual time of how long they would wait, but they said that they're not going to have 3,000 people sitting there waiting on one person more than a few minutes. So the procedure is, if the person doesn't come back, they actually go into their stateroom, open their safe, and get their important documents, like their birth certificate or passport, whatever they use to get on, and turn them over to their port official there at that port. And when the person shows up to the port and the ship's gone, they'll actually give them their documents so that they're able to get a flight to go home. Or if they want to travel to the next port, so since we were still going to Cozumel the next day, they could travel to that port and rejoin the ship.
Yeah. So, watch your times really close. Most important thing to me on this particular day that is not Cozumel related is the second show, and that is Country Road. It is their basically country concert. It was really, really good. Like I said, the entertainment on the show was fantastic. Probably the best I've ever seen. It is at 7:30 and 9:30. Pretty much all the shows are going to be at 7:30 and 9:30. Doors open at 7 and 9. Again, you want to get there early because the seats will go really, really quick, and you'll be stuck up behind a pole somewhere. They also have your 80s glow party. You want neon, take your glow sticks. It's very active. There's some really funny and cute moments that happen during this with the cruise director. Louis was fantastic. I know I keep saying that word, but I mean, we've done, this is our 5th cruise. Yep. And just the entertainment between the cruise director, the fun squad, the playlist production, cast, everybody was just so amazing on this trip that I cannot complain about that at all. Anything to do with them. But the party's a lot of fun. They play your classic 80s stuff, Thriller, and there's a grand finale with Louis and one of the fun squad that's really, really, really funny. I'm not going to spoil it because you got to see it for yourself. But it starts officially at 10:30, but they have a pre-party at 10:15 with DJ Alex. You will get to know him a little bit better. If you read my post on Facebook on the Carnival Valor, in the Carnival Valor group, you'll understand. Alex is very interactive. But it officially starts at 10:30. They have a pre-party at 10:15 where they give out glow things. So get there early.
And also, I'm here for comedic value only for the rest of the video because I'm blind as a bat, and I took off my glasses because the screen was reflecting in my glasses and showing on the video and annoying me. So I figured it was probably annoying you as well.
Okay. Your second sea day, there's a surprise on the deck. I'm not going to spoil what it is. Get up early if you can and just go take a peep at the deck.
That is, I think, going to be part of our ship tour, though. So
yes.
if you watch that video, just know, spoiler alert.
Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. I will say that the deck's been invaded. So at 12:15 that day, we had Groove for St. Jude. It's a really good cause. If you like to donate to different things, different charities and different things like that, St. Jude is a really, really good one. I think they almost raised $3,000 on our sailing.
It's almost $3,000. They give the person that gives the highest donation a stuffed bear, and I think our highest person was $200. So,
yeah.
So that person got the bear.
That's a really, really great thing that they do. And also, America Rocks is the show for your second sea day. It is a rock concert. I mean, it is full out, walk this way, all of your, I think it's really 80s, 70s, 80s, a little bit of 90s. It was really good. You also have your comedy shows all 3 times a day that day. Okay, so as far as buying things on the ship, buy your jewelry and your t-shirts today on your last sea day. The day before you get off the ship if you're on a 5-day. Because your t-shirts are going to be 2 for $25. And I think
they have 50% off of a lot of the jewelry.
60% off of your jewelry.
And they had some rings out that were 2 for $40.
Yes. So if you plan on buying t-shirts, jewelry, or anything like that, wait until the end of the cruise to do it because they do really big sales. They also have a new thing. I used to get charm bracelets every time we went on a cruise. They don't do those anymore. Nope, they do not. Now you have to buy the bracelet which is empty, and then they sell the charms instead.
I think they were $5 each.
Yeah, they were $5 each. So, you know, they've changed the way they did that a little bit. Let's see what else. And then, of course, debarkation.
We have a little bit of a disagreement on
Yes.
this. There's really two ways to get off the ship. One is by checking your luggage the night before, which means that you have to wait the next morning. I like to get off the ship. So if you carry your luggage off, you get off first, starting at 8 a.m. They say starting at 8 a.m. They actually call for the first group at 7:40 on our ship. And so if you have your luggage, when they call your muster station, which ours was B, so we were the second group call, you just can get in line and walk off the ship. If not, you have to wait through all of those that are getting off with their luggage, and then wait on them to get your luggage out and stage it in the port before they call you. I like to get off in a hurry, so I like to carry our stuff.
But
my wife does not like carrying the luggage. I will give her, you know, at 4'6", some of the luggage bit is bigger than she is, but
it's you're not just carrying it in a quick, you know, I go down a couple of floors and get off the ship. It's you have to sit there with it until they call you. We were actually at breakfast, so you can still eat breakfast the day you leave. The dining room in the Washington dining room is open, and you need to actually explain how to get there because that was a mess. So you can eat, but you have to be out of your stateroom at 8:30. So anywhere you go after 8:30, if you haven't been called, you have to take all of your luggage. Then when they do call you, you have to get downstairs and out. Then you have to go through.
Yeah, you have to go through customs and tell them what you bought, and then they check your ID and your whatever you brought, passport or birth certificate, before they let you in. And then you have to go through this little maze of lines to get out.
Yeah, and you're carrying, you know, like we had one rolling suitcase, and then we had 2 bags.
Yeah, a garment bag, a carry-on bag, and my laptop
Yeah,
bag.
and so I was carrying 2 bags, and he was rolling the luggage, and it was just a lot. So if you can hand off at least, I don't even mind the rolling luggage because that was easy. It was all the bags that was the problem.
Yeah, I tried to swap with you. You didn't want to.
Yeah, well. Also, before we get to the dining room, the Washington dining room, because that's going, you know, we'll have some tips and tricks in just a second, and some drink and food reviews and stuff like that.
Well, you were talking about breakfast in the Washington dining room. They serve that until 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30. So if you do want to eat, you have to get up and do it early. Now you can buy food and drinks the last day. So if you want to get a coffee from the coffee shop, or something like that, you can still do that on the last day. Your card will still, your sale and sign card will still work.
And she was saying that I needed to explain how to get to the Washington dining room.
Yes.
The Washington dining room is at the front of the ship, and it's on decks 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And on decks 3 and 4, you have the kitchen, the galley, in the middle of the ship. So you can't just go from one end to the other. So you actually have to go up. The easiest way to do it is to go up to 5, because 5 goes the whole length of the ship, and it has the coffee shop, the alchemy bar, all of that. And you go past the coffee shop to the past the alchemy bar, and to the where the punchliner is, and there's an elevator right there. Take it down to the 3rd floor, and you're standing in front of the Washington dining room.
Yeah, much easier if you know what you're doing, because we got lost the first day. Also, in debarkation, the elevators are a mess. You know, they have some that are not usable because of taking the luggage that people have checked or, you know, turned over to them up and down. So there's some of the elevators aren't working, and you have a mass exit of people trying to get on those elevators. So we waited for probably 25 minutes, I think, on one of the elevators to stop on our floor that was empty.
Yeah, because we kept noticing that as they come down to us, because everybody's going down, and they would open, they were completely full, and we never could get on. So I decided, well, let's go up to go down, because if the elevators are going up, they're going up to get more people above us, and they're going to be empty because no one was going up. So as a trick, we hit the up button. Next elevator that opened, or next elevator came by, was going up. It was completely empty. So we got on it, rode it up 2 floors, and then got to come back down and didn't have to wait anymore.
Yeah, brilliant idea. So remember that. That's a very good tip. Also, it is cold. If you are cold natured like I am, you think you're going to Cozumel and you're going to Costa Maya, you're gonna need lots of warm clothes because it's warm down there or whatever. It may be warm outside, but it is cold in all of the indoor areas of that ship. I'm talking freezing cold. So on the last show that we did, I actually went and got a towel to wrap around me during the show because the theater's freezing, the buffet area is freezing, pretty much anywhere inside is freezing cold. And if it rains, which it did on our first sea day, you're kind of forced to be inside, and then you go outside and the sun's not out, so it's a little less warm out there. I ended up wearing a sweatshirt. I'm glad we took sweatshirts just to make room, or to add stuff to the luggage, because it wasn't completely full. So I'm glad we took them, because had it not been for that, I would have been buying something from somewhere because it was freezing.
And it's kind of funny because we watched several videos on the Valor before we went on our sailing. And a gentleman and his wife that we watched a lot of their videos that had been on it right before us were talking about how warm it was, especially in the Red Frog pub, and because it seemed like the air conditioning wasn't working well. Well, they got that fixed before our sailing,
yes.
And they may have overcorrected.
Yes, it was not just kind of cold; it was freezing. All right, the food. I'll let you talk about the food.
The food. The food was not really great.
No.
We've been out several times, and the food used to be much better.
Oh yeah.
I think they changed the menus. And a perfect example is the Sea Day Brunch. One of our favorite things from previous cruises was the steak and eggs on the Sea Day Brunch, which you used to get a fillet. You got some, I think they call them breakfast potatoes. They had a grilled tomato, hollandaise sauce, and eggs, whichever way you want, poached, fried, scrambled. So we went and we got the same thing because that's what we remembered from the past. And we got the steak and eggs, and it was a sirloin strip and some french fries, crinkle cut french fries.
Yep, that was it.
So it seems like the food had went down a good bit. We actually a couple of days opted out of the formal dining room to go to Guy's Burgers, which is always fantastic.
Or eat the buffet.
So that's the only thing I would look out for as you're going forward.
Yeah, the food. The prices of the drinks, which you kind of already said that they were around $10.50, but coffee, the coffee shop, the prices in the coffee shop are really good. Like, I was surprised, I'm a Dunkin' girl. I don't as much care for Starbucks, but if you like Dunkin' or Starbucks and you're used to paying like $6.50 for a coffee, the prices were really good, and you could get a spiked coffee there.
Yeah, the spiked coffee, I can't remember because I got one that was called the Chocolate Lovers, and it was either $7 or $7.50. But I do have the menu, so I'll post the menu.
Yeah, we'll post the menu. But yeah, the coffee, I think the average regular coffee was between $2.50 and $3.50. And then if you got, like, I got a latte with whipped cream and everything, and it was like $4.50, I think. Okay, so I think we've covered pretty much everything that we wanted to cover in this particular video. There's going to be others. I'm going to do what we took on the cruise that was helpful, different things that you want to pack, different things that we took that we didn't use, and different things like that coming in the near future, as well as we're going to have the tours.
The ship tour, the tour of the 2 ports. And
the stateroom tour,
right? And then also we've got I think a tour of our hotel room.
Yeah,
we'll add to one of the
Westin the hotel was beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. Jazz music
right on the river. It was really nice. Oh, and
really nice.
The jazz band there was fantastic.
Yes, he was so good.
And he was
they
hilarious.
were good. Yeah. definitely recommend staying there. And other than that, well, we're going to have some upcoming videos. There's going to be some Disney videos, future cruise videos. We're going to do some stuff in Pensacola, and this weekend we'll be at the
Vets at the Beach.
That's the beach in Pensacola. So
it was actually funny because when we left New Orleans and we were headed back toward Pensacola because that's where we live, we were driving my Corvette, and we got in a line of Corvettes that were headed from Louisiana to Pensacola for Vets at the Beach, and it was a lot of fun.
All right. So just keep an eye out on all of the future videos that we have. We're going to go to all different kinds of places, and we hope to bring you guys along. If you enjoyed this video, please do us a favor and like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so that you can see all the future tips, trips, and all of the things.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.
Bye.